What is going on, Jet fans? Matt O'Leary back with another video. This morning, I'd like to get into a couple of different things Jets related. First, we're going to get into the Jets meeting with two offensive linemen before their pro day, which happens today. And after Jadeveon Clowney signs with the Carolina Panthers, we will talk about other free agent edge targets the Jets could pivot to. You guys should know by now, but Talking Jets draft party is happening for the first round at the main event on Long Island out in Farmingdale. We are very excited about it. You can get tickets through April 16th. That is Tuesday, April 16th is the last day to get tickets to this event. It comes with a ton. You get a Talking Jets draft official t-shirt. You get obviously an admission to the event. You get buffet, you get open bar. It's gonna be a lot of fun. Make sure to check it out. Link down below in the description. So let's get into it. The New York Jets met with two offensive linemen from Washington yesterday, Troy Fontenot and Roger Rosengarten. And Rosengarten, someone who is probably a mid to late round pick. I'd say like 4th, 5th round would be my guess. So early on day 3, they saw him at the Senior Bowl. So they obviously got to see him up close, but they got to speak with him yesterday as well. But to me, the big fish in this one is Troy Fontenot. And something that I really like about him is his versatility, how he can play both offensive tackle and guard. He played on the left side of the line. I think he's someone who could play all 4 positions outside of center on the offensive line. So if the Jets were to draft offensive line in round 1, he's probably a trade back option. I don't think I would take him at pick number 10 if they want to go on the offensive line. I would rather, like, if that's the route they want to go, like Fashanu or Fuanga, I think are good options for the New York Jets on the line. But moving back, grabbing Fontenot and also obtaining a 2nd round pick to go wide receiver in that spot, you might be able to tell me that that's more enticing than just sticking and picking with either Fuanga or Fashanu or whoever is there for the New York Jets at pick number 10. A lot of people have really talked up his versatility and honestly his fit with the New York Jets recently. Trevor Sikkema, one of the lead PFF guys in scouting and NFL draft, has mocked Fontenot to the Jets even at pick number 10. Connor Rogers, who does a show with Trevor Sikkema, big Jets fan, also does Badlands. You may have heard his content over there. He really likes Troy Fontenot for the New York Jets. I like him as well. I would be excited if that was the pick. That's not to say that I don't think the Jets can't go with a weapon. They absolutely could. We've talked about it a bunch. I would be excited about adding a weapon, but adding someone like Fontenot would make sense for this team because their 6th offensive lineman is going to play a great deal this year. They have a left tackle who hasn't played a full season since 2015. They have a right tackle who's coming off of surgery in the offseason. They have a right guard who's had back-to-back season-ending injuries. They have John Simpson, who's been pretty healthy, but you never know with these guys because it seems like guys who've had clean bills of health in their career come to the Jets and end up missing time. So I wouldn't squash this idea and think it's not really worthy of a draft selection because he is, and I think he'd be a good player. The next topic that I wanted to get into was edge options for the Jets because, well, unfortunately, Jadeveon Clowney signs on with the Carolina Panthers, a 2-year deal worth up to $24 million. It's more money than I thought he was going to get. I'm probably in the minority on that one, but I probably would have matched that contract, but it's not something that I'm losing sleep over. There are other pivot options that you could do on a 1-year deal. Clowney is from the area, got paid a good amount of money from David Tepper. So do I blame him for taking the money? No, I can't say that I do. But my favorite edge option is probably Kus Campbell at this point. Last year, he signed a 1-year deal, $8 million in Atlanta. He was very interested, or the Jets at least were very interested in him in last offseason. So for me, Campbell is kind of like that John Franklin Myers, can play inside, can play on the outside. But he had a really productive season last year, despite being a little bit older. He's over 35 years old now, but he still had 6.5 sacks, 42 pressures. He played 63% of snaps. As I said, the Jets liked him a lot last year, and he's a good player against the run. which is kind of like fitting that Jadeveon Clowney role of an early down defensive end in as a part of the rotation, and someone who could also kick inside it. Because I don't know, I think Calais Campbell, Javon Kinlaw, Leaky Fotu, these guys all rotating around on the interior, even not bad options. Jerry Hughes is the next name that I want to get into. He spent the last couple of years in Houston. He signed a 2-year, $10 million deal with the Houston Texans. He played 42% of snaps last year, 3 sacks, 30 pressures. Spent a ton of time up in Buffalo as well. So if the name sounds familiar, it's because you probably remember him playing against the New York Jets for some years with the Buffalo Bills. He had 30 pressures, 3 sacks, played just 42% of snaps. So he's probably more of a rotation guy at this point, which is fine. The Jets like to rotate their guys a lot. They just need depth at the position right now. I'm afraid I don't want them to use a first-round pick on the position because they did it last year when they probably didn't have to do it. But now there's kind of like this a little bit of a hole. You let Bryce Huff walk, and they're very clearly looking to add another veteran body. But I hope it doesn't go like, hey, and then we set ourselves up in a spot in the draft where we feel comfortable on offense, so we're going to go with an edge rusher, because you're going to get a really, really poor reaction from me and most Jet fans if that's the case. But Jerry Hughes, not a bad pivot point option. And then you have Yannick Ngakoue. It feels like he's been linked to the New York Jets for a half a decade. He's moved around the league a bunch over the last few years. He signed a 1-year deal with the Chicago Bears last year and was a little bit underwhelming. 72% of snaps, 4 sacks, 34 pressures. But in even recent years gone by, he's been like a 9+ a year sack guy. I don't want to sign him and play him 72% of snaps. By the way, I don't think that's something the Jets would do anyway. If the Jets are going for more of that pure pass rusher guy and just like speed off the edge, then Ngakoue is probably the better fit. If they want to go with the better all-around player, someone who's a little bit more stout against the run but doesn't have as much pass rush juice, then your answer is probably Calais Campbell. I think, again, I mentioned it when in the start of this segment, Campbell's my favorite option of the bunch. I think Will McDonald should take over that, just like, hey, on third downs, you're going to be our pure pass rusher, get after it. And you still have like Jermaine Johnson, who's growing. He got significantly better from year 1 to year 2. John Franklin Myers is still an underrated edge player. And they have options too. So of the 3, I know he's older, but honestly, I think Calais Campbell would be my choice on a 1-year deal. I don't think it's going to be crazy costly to add him. Would he get $8 million like he got last year? I don't know, maybe 6, somewhere in that range. But I think that would be my route. Let me know in the comments what you would do down below. Make sure to subscribe if you're new. Give the video a like before you go, and I'll catch you next time.